All right, so the next part of your homework, and I think what's really important to begin with any new medium or new palette that you're working with, is to do a color wheel with it. So for this, you're only going to use one set of your primaries. I know that you've got hopefully two of them, a warmer set and a cooler set. I would do a circle for each set. So what we're going to start with is I'm drawing a rough circle in the middle here. You know that your primaries are 3, right? I've got a big circle and then I have 3 little pie slices to each quadrant. So in the 3 spaced out evenly, you put your primaries. So I'm going to put yellow here, and we're going to do really heavy saturation to the outside and then work on practicing our blends and gradients. So we're going to create a gradient getting to almost, I want it pure white at that very last tip at the center of the circle. So this is a nice chance for you to practice with each of them. Each paint with each pigment, they kind of blend a little differently. Some pigments are heavier, some are lighter. So this gives you a chance to sort of fiddle with that. So that's the yellow. I'm going to jump over and do my blue. I label them as you go around. You can see I've written the names of them at the corners. This will be later like a little map for you should you need to create a color, right? So pulling the same with the blue, getting really heavy saturation. I want you to push it to be as close to the color on your palette or the color it is when it comes out of the tube, just so that you can see how deep, how bright you can get it, and then pulling it all the way to white. Sorry if you hear little snarfles. There's a puppy nearby playing with a thing. Okay, so once you've got that, then the one directly evenly in between them, correct, is 50% of each of them. So when you're depositing these onto your palette from your tubes, you'll be able to then make a little like dot of each of them and know that it's about 50% of each of them. Mix it together. That's what you have for your centers. So it'll also give you a nice range of pre-mixed colors later when you're moving on. So 50-50 mix for here in the middle. Make sure you use the same yellow and the same blue or your map won't work later. So you can see I'm kind of working it. I'm making sure it's well mixed in the palette before I apply it, and then work on getting it really saturated, same level of saturation on the outside as you got with your primary colors. Okay? Once again, practicing that gradient, you'll see that the blue pigment, especially in like cobalts and things, is actually quite a bit heavier. So that blue pigment is going to settle more, get kind of grainier as you spread it out, than the yellow is lighter. And you'll see that in the greens when you pull them through. Now see, he looks a little pastel-y, so we're adding some more pigment up at the top and then just reworking it back in. Now, if you get it's too much at the bottom, you can always take your rag and pick it up at the bottom, pick up the water, pick up the pigment so that it gets closer to that gradient to white that you want. So then in between each of these, it's a 50-50 mix of the green you made and the primary that it's next to. So you get your yellow green and your blue green. You can leave these all mixed on your palette so that you have a really nice range of secondary and tertiary colors. So you can see that one sort of, you have to kind of rework them as they dry sometimes to help them get a little smoother. So you keep an eye on it as you're going around doing other slices. You can revisit one and smooth out the gradient a bit. So I'm going to mix my blue 50% with my green and make my blue green. Now, what I'm doing is called palette mixing, so that's what we're doing for this part of it. We're pre-mixing these colors so that you'll always have them, right? So if you mix them on your palette, even if they dry up, you can reactivate them with water and you'll have that color. So making sure that we get the white, got a little bright there. So using my rag to pick up. Here in a second, we're going to move on to doing some saturation shades at the side, and those we're going to mix on the page. So I've gone ahead and filled in the red. You would go around and fill in your entire color wheel, right? But filled in the red, and we're going to mix our two complementary colors, which you know means they're directly across from each other. So I layered a red, and now I'm doing the green over it while it's still wet, and they're mixing on the page. You can see it creates a nice neutral tone. I would go around and do this for, I mean, you know, if you cut it in half, you will have mixed the whole thing. So if I were to do all the little circles on one half of it, I would have mixed all of them and seen what their complementary colors make. It's just nice to have a range of understanding what types of neutrals you're going to be able to get. So then when you're working on your project, the next thing I want you to do is make a little rectangle like this and mix from one complementary color to the other, creating a neutral in the middle and creating as smooth of a blend as possible, okay? You get to pick what those complementary colors are. Awesome. I will repost the sketchbook and look forward to talking to y'all more. Bye.